Hey there, TikTakers! We are very excited because today we'll be diving into the world of superheroes. So let's see if you can guess who we'll be talking about. It's a hero who wears a cape! Okay, you're right, that's not a very good clue. But here's a definitive one. He's associated with bats. Now you know who it is, right? It is Batman, of course. Surely most of you know the story of Batman, but for the few of you who don't, here's a little refresher. Bruce Wayne is a multi-millionaire entrepreneur. When he was a child, he witnessed how a thug murdered his parents, and from then on, he prepared to avenge them. He trained hard all his life to become Batman, a masked hero who fights against the evils of Gotham City. This is a very simplistic summary, so that's why we recommend that you watch some Batman movies. We think you'll find them fun and exciting. Now let's go back to the very beginning. This superhero was created by artist Bob Kane and writer Bill Finger to be published for the first time in DC Comics. More specifically, Batman debuted on Detective Comics number 27 on May 1939. What makes Batman stand out is that he doesn't have superpowers like other superheroes do. Instead, he uses his intelligence, tech savviness, and physical skills to fight crime. We also have to keep in mind that he has plenty of money to finance the many resources at his disposal. This entire setup captivated the public, which is why, since he first appeared in DC Comics, the company kept creating more and more content with this character. It is complicated to talk about all the Batman-related media, but we'll try to highlight the most noteworthy works featuring the superhero TikTakers. After succeeding so much in the world of comics, Batman debuted on audiovisual media with the 15-chapter theatrical serial titled The Batman. It premiered in 1943, and another theatrical serial was released in 1949 titled Batman and Robin, where Batman's loyal sidekick was introduced. We then saw this superhero again in 1966 in the movie aptly titled Batman the Movie. Now, for many followers of The Dark Knight, the Batman movies actually started with the movie Batman from 1989, directed by Tim Burton and starring Michael Keaton. In this movie, Jack Nicholson interprets Batman's most quintessential villain, the Joker. This time around, the movie had a sequel, Batman Returns, which premiered in 1992. And since they say third time is the charm, Tim Burton also produced the movie Batman Forever, which premiered in 1995 and where Val Kilmer assumed a protagonist role. Then came the movie Batman and Robin, which premiered in 1997 but didn't receive good reviews. Thus, the followers of this superhero had to wait a few years to watch a new Batman movie. And so, in 2005, Christopher Nolan became the director of the next Batman movie, who redefined everything about the character and gave the franchise the push it needed. Under his direction were produced a new trilogy of Batman movies. Batman Begins, premiering in 2005 and starring Christian Bale. Then The Dark Knight, premiering in 2008 and where Heath Ledger plays the Joker. Unfortunately, he died tragically just 3 months before the premiere. And finally, The Dark Knight Rises, premiering in 2012 and where Anne Hathaway plays the role of Catwoman. In 2016, premiered Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, and in 2017, the Lego Batman movie. And we can also see Batman in different iterations of the Justice League. By the way, TikTakers, on May 2019, fans on social media went crazy when it was announced that Robert Pattinson would play Batman in the newest Batman movie. Many tentative dates have been floating around, but it seems that we'll finally be able to watch it in the spring of 2022. As you can see, TikTakers, many films have been made about The Dark Knight, and keep in mind that we have only mentioned movies. We could also include many other works such as live-action shows, animations, books, comics, video games. And all of them, even though they can have many differences, are mostly faithful to the base story of this superhero. Batman is a dark hero, traumatized by the death of his parents and fueled by a thirst for vengeance. But he's also a sensible soul, even if it doesn't seem like it. He is pretty paranoid and only trusts his butler Alfred and his sidekicks Robin and Batgirl. His bat suit is also pretty consistent across all media. It imitates the shape of a bat, since bats are Bruce Wayne's greatest phobia. This hero has also built plenty of gadgets to help him fight crime, as well as greater resources such as the Batmobile and the Batcave. Tik and Tak definitely love Batman. What about you? Let us know in the comments which Batman movie is your favorite. We'll be reading them. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, and if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!